Hello, friends. This is Adania from Fashion Fair, and we are having our last designer come talk to us today about who they are and what to expect in the fashion show. Let's get our tickets. www.showpass.com/fat fashion fair hyphenated. Yay. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to have so much fun. It's going to be very uplifting and it's going to be very, very fun. Oh,
Hello,
yay.
how are you
Hi.
doing?
Good. How are
Yeah,
you?
so it's so nice to be able to see your face and do this in real. We've just been chatting back and
Yeah.
forth so much about the event.
Yeah. It's been exciting. You've heard from me almost daily for the past
There's
month.
so much work that goes into something like this. You just must be
Yeah.
so incredible.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to start doing it. I've been prepping so much over the last couple of weeks, and I'm so ready to just be there.
Yay. All right. So why don't we start? This is Ray Hill from Origami Customs. And am I saying it right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Great. Why don't you introduce yourself, Ray, and tell us a little bit about Origami Customs?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you nailed it. I'm Ray. I use they them pronouns. I own Origami Customs. It's a line of gender affirming and size inclusive underwear and swimwear. It's all made by hand by queer and trans people here in Montreal. So we've got a little team in the studio here. So I've been doing this for 15 years. It's looked really, really different throughout its trajectory. And aside from just being an online retailer and clothing store. Obviously, we do free custom sizing as part of that, but we also run this tandem community program where we get gender affirming garments out to people who lack access to them through a network of NGOs that I've built up over many years. So we work with about 100 different programs to make sure that people have access to the things that they need safely and for free.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can you, since you're on it already, I was going to ask you if you could tell us about programs that support the community. So do you want to dwell a little bit more
Yeah.
on about this program?
Yeah. Definitely, definitely. So this was like a labor of love that I started about halfway into my career, so maybe about 7 years ago. I come from a sociology background, and so
Nice.
I was like, I'm not like a fashion person. Like I love what I do and I love creating things for the community.
Yeah.
But my heart was really behind like, well, how can this give back? Like I didn't want to go the route through academia. I wanted to be able to create something through the fashion world because I knew how to sew and I knew how to sew custom garments and I knew that I could bring that talent to people who across the board for many different reasons needed things to fit custom that they could access. Um, and so when I was thinking about this, it's like the cost of the labor that goes into producing these things ethically by hand, custom. We have a really amazing program and benefits for all of our staff and employees. That was really important to me. But of course, that makes us like not the cheapest option for people who are specifically people who are accessing gender affirming care, and that's like a very life saving strategy and technique for people to alleviate dysphoria and feel good in their bodies. And we're often
Yeah.
talking about young people.
Mm-hmm.
We're often talking about people who like don't have parental support
Support.
and for lots of reasons face intersectional oppressions. So I was like, okay, I need to be able to make this stuff ethically, and people need to be able to get it who can't afford it. So how do we do that? And so I created this program. We started working with some NGOs in the States at first, and now, like I said, I've like created relationships with like mostly grassroots NGOs who work with a lot of different parts of the community, they work with people who are living with HIV/AIDS. Work with people who are like living on the street, living in homelessness or in foster care. They work with like refugees and new immigrants, like lots of different reasons why people need to access these programs. Yeah, we send out like hundreds and hundreds of gender affirming items every month to these orgs, and then people just sign up and say, hi, I would like this thing and I can't afford it. And I go, here you go. You can get one for free, either like in person where those orgs work, or a lot of them have just online signups where people can just drop their name and get a product for free. So yeah, that
Wow.
was really important to me from the beginning.
Amazing. This is so cool. I had no idea of the extent of the program. is so, so
It's great.
cool.
It's
And
been growing the last
yeah,
3 years. Exciting.
how did you start sewing?
Oh my gosh. I mean, I've sewn since I was a really little kid. Like I grew up with it in my family. Like we were one of those families. My parents and my grandparents grew up very poor, and so it was just that you had to make your own clothes, and they made their clothes for their kids, and that was what everyone did.
Right.
So I was on my mom's sewing machine from the time I was like 6.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
Yeah, but then when I was a teenager, I started getting more into like modifying my own clothing to be affirming, to fit me the way that I wanted it to fit. I started experimenting with stretch fabrics. So
Mhm.
I'm self-taught. My sister, also who was 10 years older than me, was very good at sewing, and she taught me a lot. She was very creative. I started creating like all sorts of weird outfits when I was a teen, you know. Um, yeah, and so it wasn't until when I was 20, I was living in Honduras. I lived in Central America for 7 years in my early 20s. And I
Oh,
was
wow.
down there. My ex and I, we owned a beachwear store. And so I was like selling kind of imported bikinis. Everyone who lived there were like surfers and scuba divers and living on the beach. And so everyone needed swimwear. And I was like, I actually have the skill set to make these things. And of course, what we were finding was those folks like no one ever fit a bikini properly. You know, you're always a different size top bottom,
Yeah.
or you're getting sized out of
Yeah.
the range, or you know, you need things to be custom in lots of different ways. And I was like, I have been doing this for myself for a decade. I know how to do this. I started making them for my friends and then eventually selling them in the shop. And they did really well. And so I opened an Etsy and that went really well. So I built my own website and I started selling there. And then I, you know, translated those patterns into lingerie patterns and it kind of just got the ball rolling. And then it wasn't really until I moved back to Canada later that I started focusing more on gender affirming stuff.
Oh, wow. That sounds amazing. Do you speak
Yeah.
Spanish by chance?
Sorry.
Do you speak Spanish?
I do, but it's been so long. This was like, I haven't spoken Spanish in like 10 years.
Oh, well, when
But I did.
you're
Yeah.
here, we'll have to
There's
practice.
really nice for sure.
That's so cool. You have such a life, such an amazing life story. And I'm really touched and moved by who you are and what your brand
Thank
represents.
you.
And that leads me a little bit into asking about your values as a brand.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what those values are?
Yeah, I mean it's you've now heard me say all the things that that led me to create the brand how it is now, and I think at the core of that there's like this framework that's really important to me. And I don't want to say it's like mutual aid because we're still living within capitalism. It's still a company, it's still a brand, so we can't really say that. You know, we have to make money
Yeah.
to survive. But there was always this feeling of like I need to support and protect the people who are working with me first and foremost. You know, and then that ripples outwards, and being able to create a framework for people to access the products that they need in a safe and ethical way. And in that, like, we get fed by our community too. So there's this like reciprocity. I've never had to go overseas. I've never had to like worry about you know how things are run in factories and
Yeah.
how that affects like mostly women of color in the global south, and that was just like never going to be on my plate. And so yeah, like keeping it within my community was always really really important, like getting people the things that they need, their access to like safe and affirming garments, whether that's like because of gender or because of size or because of like disability or access in lots of different ways. Like we're all deserving of having products that last, that are like safer for the environment. We're not like throwing out crap every year because they like you know fall apart.
Yeah.
That we know where it's coming from, that we like value the people who are making the garments, you know, that we value ourselves and we're like investing in pieces that we like really can love and love at the size and the body that we're in now and that
Yeah.
feel good. So all of
Mhm.
that was baked in from the beginning.
Absolutely. And why is it important for you to be size inclusive? Like, how did you come into the realization that, hey, we need to fit all sizes and or different sizes and different
Yeah.
types of bodies? Like how did that like how did you that thought came to be? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, because for some people it's like they never think about it, they never think about including uh different body types, etc. So how did it work for you?
Um, I mean, for me, it was just one facet of the ethos, like everything should be for everybody, full stop. And while there's definitely some constraints in that, like I've never had a size cap. It's always been custom, which means like yes, you can buy things in a standard size if that is a size that works for you, but I have always been able to allow that I allowed people to send in their measurements so that they would get a fit at any size and in between
Mhm.
sizes. Like, and there's a really big difference. This is something that I talk about a lot between like creating something as an afterthought or having it be like baked in from the beginning.
Mhm.
And so when you build a brand or when you build anything with that vision and that goal of inclusivity from the start, it's a really different thing than saying, okay, we've created a range and a line that we really love in like, a small to an XL or whatever. We've like done a run. Okay, let's start adding extended sizes. But that's like, it's an afterthought. And those
Mhm.
things are not designed in the same way. They're not built in the same way. You didn't think of those sizes when you designed the product. And so it
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily work in a larger size. So I am really,
Mhm.
really, really strict about not offering any products that I don't feel will fit like pretty much across the board on any size.
Mhm.
And it does mean like a lot more testing, a lot more like work in the design process, and
Fittings.
yeah, a lot more fittings and all of that stuff. It was really, really important to me that things would be gender inclusive, that they would be size inclusive, that we would offer like um, options for people with sensitivity issues, offers options for people, especially when you're looking at things like binders that you can get in on and off easier for people with mobility issues, like all of that stuff. I'm never going to catch every single person and every single person's needs, but that it was never just like, oh, also we'll like throw you a bone at the end, like sure we'll do an
Yeah.
extended range and add on a couple of sizes, like no.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm so happy your brand is intersecting so many people and so many things, like not only size inclusivity but gender inclusivity and adaptability as well, and being sustainable as well. Like I love all of those things, and I'm so happy your brand exists like as is.
Yeah.
And I just want to ask you, why did you decide to join our little project fashion fair?
I was so excited when I heard about it. Yeah, like all of those things come together. I think like what you just said really encapsulates it. Like all of those things are interlinked.
Mhm.
Um, and I've never wanted, like, I do make a lot of gender affirming clothing, but I've never wanted to pigeonhole myself because the way that we design, it allows for supporting communities across the board. And like the Fat Fashion Fair, you guys are doing it with so much heart. And at the base of all that stuff is just like the value of the difference of expression that like we have in our community in lots of
Mhm.
different like beautiful ways of expressing. Yeah, so I really wanted to be able to take my products and show them on a line of people in bigger bodies and see what that was going to be like. And I love the way that you've included so much heart and so much community into what you do. Like I'm very selective about where I show my work and who I show my work on, because I'm like, if it doesn't align with my values, I don't want it. And
Yeah.
if you're not being open to people on the runway who don't look like stereotypical runway models, and that includes like size and gender diversity, then I don't want to be a part of it. I can't participate in stuff like
Yeah.
that if it doesn't feel good. And this was one of the few things that I was like, yes, you get it. You
Mhm.
understand what it's like. And being a person like that in the fashion world is so rare when someone's coming at it from that perspective. So I saw this project and I was like, yes, immediately. I want to be working in Canada. I want to be working with diverse models. I want to be working with people who understand, who like care about all the people who are included in the project. Like I see the way that you talk to everyone too, like the staff and the support staff and like and the models and the designers and everyone, and like you really, really care about each one of them. And that's the way that I run my company. And I want to find other people who are doing the same thing.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. I feel I feel like my heart is full.
Yeah, I am so excited to get out there. I've been working on this collection so hard and I can't wait to meet everyone. It's
Yes,
going to be such a good time.
absolutely. and we have you as a panelist as well.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about your panel?
I mean, it's all still really fresh and up in the air. I think some of the things that I really want to talk about on the panel are like what like the specifics of what it takes to create an inclusive line, and
Mm,
maybe I'm going to get a little bit more into like the technical stuff around like
yeah,
what it means to produce and create garments. But I think that that's also really fun for people to know more about how the garments are made, because we don't really think about that
yeah,
when we go and buy something off the rack, you know, like how was this
mhm,
designed, what was the intentionality behind it, how do like fabrics and cuts and the actual patterns themselves play into how something fits and how people have thought about the body who's going to be in this garment.
yeah,
So yeah, my co-panelists and I, like, I think we have a lot to say around like, yeah, and I think it goes back to imagining how it's going to be from the very beginning, from the formation of these ideas, and how we take our
absolutely.
values and we create a garment based on them.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh, I'm
it's
so
going to be really,
excited to hear
yeah,
you. And Martina, you will be joined hands with Martina. Martina
yeah.
is amazing. They've been I fit model with
Oh,
her with Martina.
cool.
So they know my body.
That's awesome.
And and they do a lot of great work for the community in Calgary, for brands in Calgary. Um, Hard work trying to help them become more size
Yeah.
inclusive and gender inclusive as well. So
I can't wait to learn
it's a lot of work.
more about the work that they're doing. It sounds amazing. I wish that I had known Martina like when I was starting, because I really could have used that help. I feel like my
Yeah,
brand just like reinvents the wheel every time we do this, and it's like it shouldn't be like that. We should be collaborating from the start to share information and help each other, because we're
absolutely.
all trying to do the same thing, right?
Yes. All right. Well, I wish I could keep chatting with you.
I
This is
know.
so amazing.
Yeah,
But
I'm sure we're gonna have
I
so much
should let you
fun
go.
together. Yeah, absolutely. It's
And
coming up soon. I can't wait.
yes, any last words you have or any invitations that you have for people who are watching this?
Just tune in. I'm sure there'll be lots of fun content that's going on around the weekend of the show. We'll make sure to try to like put a lot of that online so people can follow along. And then, of course, if you're in the area, please come see this. It's going to be really exciting. But yeah,
Yeah.
I'd love to show more about the process of when we get there and we start doing some fit tests and trying things on and showing all the new creations. So yeah, just stay tuned.
Amazing. All right. Thank you so much, Ray. And thank you so much for all your help, and everything that you do is amazing. I can't wait to have you here.
Me too.
And if you don't have your tickets yet, go get your tickets. Showpass.com/Fat Fashion Fair hyphenated. We have a sliding scale so most people can access. It starts at 25. If you want to splurge, do so. We do have a VIP package with some goodies, and just we really put our hearts into this event and to helping the community become stronger and become more united and share all these values that we've talked about here. So please come see us, Fat Fashion Fair, showpass.com/Fat Fashion Fair. Get your ticket, and I'll see you in the runway. Bye.
Take care. Talk to you soon.